What you were saying about what you call it, Pizza Planet?
We were talking about like the quality and shit was probably like poor because they were just like a cash grab. But on the second hand, and Adam, you mentioned not little. I think you mentioned little Caesars, right? Like the 5-minute ready, whatever.
The hot
at
and
the
ready?
same time, hot and ready. Yeah. At the same time, it should not be that fucking hard to make decent pizza. Now, I know there are like vastly different qualities of pizza, but I guess I would eat virtually all of them. is what I'm saying. I mean, I love the Giornos, but I also love like the quality, like New York style that this family that came from New York, and like they got some of the best pizza in the city here, and of course Chicago. So, point is, like it can't be that hard to make decent pizza to like get people in and actually enjoy your shit at Disney World.
You would think, but I think it's a whole thing of like I don't know. I can't eat all pizza. One, I can't eat tomatoes anymore. So, that's already, if all you got is regular
Damn,
pizza,
dog.
Yeah.
Yo, quick, I'm just curious why. I know for some people it reacts differently. I've heard of that, but
no worries. It's the acid because some years ago, I want to say probably like five or 6 years ago at this point, I had an ulcer. And so when you have an ulcer, you can't really indulge in damn near anything, but especially nothing acidic. Mm-hmm. And so it healed for the most part. Like I could drink again, I can eat chocolate, but tomatoes.
Isn't that fucking crazy? Hey, you can sip on vodka and like Hennessy and all that shit, but you can't eat tomatoes. That's crazy, man. Oh man.
But I was gonna say, you can offset the acidity of tomatoes with sugar.
Yeah. That's why barbecue sauce works.
Yeah. And that's why like when people say like the sugar go in spaghetti, I always say it does because of that. That doesn't mean you have to dump a whole cup full of it, but you can put enough in it where it offsets the acidity so people can eat it, and not.
Well, niggas and sugar, will make Kool-Aid spaghetti sauce. And so that is that. Like I pretty much anything tomato based with the exception of barbecue sauce, I can't really fuck with them. So like I haven't had a bowl of chili in forever. Unless it was a white chili, because different. But
I was gonna say, no, I'm sorry, bro. I'm gonna cut you off.
You good? You good?
I was gonna make the comment like, damn, you in Chicago, the city of like some of the best pizza and shit, and you can't essentially eat it. But at the same time, when you live there, do you care about it the same way?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And I'll go on record saying like I probably, when it comes to pizza, I eat Domino's more than anything else.
That's blasphemous.
Domino's though, I would sleep on Domino's, and Kirsten could tell you like recently we've been getting Domino's a lot. I didn't realize it was that good. Like, because you just think of the chains like, but Domino's is actually pretty good.
Bro, I'm still sleeping. Don't wake me up from this dream, son.
You just said you'll eat anything. So
yeah, true. Yes, I did. I'm just saying, like, as far as it being good, I guess.
Because here's the thing.
Like, what level? I guess.
Sure, because I'm
not trying to take away from his opinion. By the way, like you have a right to like enjoy Domino's.
Yeah, you're fine, and also take away from the opinion by all means. Be informally honest. I say, because I remember when Domino's changed their recipe, and that was the best decision they could have ever fucking made. Domino's back in the day, like 90s, early 2000s, Domino's, absolutely fucking horrible. Trash. It was tomato sauce on cardboard. It was salty for some reason. It was fucking trash. They changed their recipe, and then they came out with their version of a pan pizza, that kind of deep crust with extra cheese. Fucking fantastic. It's the only thing I really get. But I'm grateful that we live in this era of pizza because there's so many alternative pizzas now. In which, you argue with somebody's Italian grandmother, they're gonna be like, unless it's tomato sauce, it's not really pizza. But by all means, I don't really fucking care about their opinion in that way because I can't fucking eat it. So you give me some white sauce, some chipotle sauce, and barbecue. I love fucking alternative pizzas.
Okay, now
that's interesting.
I gotta say, first off, I don't think I've had Domino's since back in the day. It must have been before they changed the recipe, so maybe that's why I'm saying that. because I haven't had it probably since then. So I wouldn't know. And like the 95% of my pizza consumption is the place down the street, the New York style and Detroit style, or DiGiorno, because it's not delivery, you motherfuckers. All you motherfuckers out there who thinks it is delivery, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno, baby.
Yo, are y'all watching Abbott Elementary?
Not yet. It's definitely on my list though.
But I'm watching Raising Dion, but we can get to that later. I think you mentioned that a couple podcasts.
Probably just because I advocate for this fucking show. It's so goddamn good. And Adam, especially because you love The Office, there's no way you won't love this show. Because it is that, mockumentary style show. But it's Black, it's in Philly, and it was a great bit they had on yesterday. Spoilers if you haven't seen it. Where they were talking about pizza, and I guess Philly style pizza is a big thing for them. And
what is it? Can you please explain for us and the audience?
Philly style pizza? I have no idea.
Yeah,
they didn't necessarily explain that. Okay. What is it?
Right now, it's coming with guns on it, right? It's coming with guns instead of
We're from Gary. We can't say that.
That's true, but those motherfuckers are getting worse than us now.
Now, sure, because only 4 people still live in Gary.
Yeah, daylight out there. God damn. Shoot out some Uber drivers and shit.
But no, they had a great bit. What was it? The dude from Everybody Hates Chris. He's on there.
Oh yeah,
and he doesn't like pizza, but he tried to explain pizza as someone who clearly doesn't like it. He was like, "Oh yeah, I don't really like Philly style pizza. I like Baltimore style." And it was like, "Oh, what does that mean?" He was like, "It's like really crispy and wet." And that doesn't sound good. But I mean, I don't think that any pizza is really level, and I can eat. Even when I could eat tomatoes, I could eat deep dish, but I'm not the biggest fan of deep dish. It was cool like once every 4 years.
Me too.
Yeah,
because I can't eat that much cheese. Like I did. Like it's just absurd.
Like to me, almost every time I get pizza, it's deep dish. Like that's just like the standard is like,
bro. And you can eat off that shit for a week, man.
Exactly,
because you only eating one slice a day.
I'm getting so much bang for my buck. That's what I'm talking about.
And you're not going to shit for a month. There's so much fucking cheese. It's too much.
You just go in hibernation mode.
Yeah.
But that whole New York, Chicago debate and all of that, like, I don't know. I don't necessarily live in those. I'm just like, is it good? And can I fucking eat it?
Exactly. And a city that slept on is Detroit.
Bro.
Detroit pizza is good, man.
True.
Now Detroit has like the extra buttery crust style.
Exactly.
Yeah,
and it's like typically it's cut in squares instead of like like pie stuff.
What was that? Jets? Isn't Jets the Detroit style?
I don't know.
I'm not familiar with Jets. Is that a Chicago place? Somewhere in Chicago?
No, it's a franchise. It's all over.
Oh, okay. Oh, Jets. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I heard of Jets. Yeah.
Well, first time I think I'm sure I've heard of Detroit style a while ago before I was this much of a pizza lover, I guess. But place down the street also serves Detroit style, and like it felt like that was the first time, like a year or two ago. So and it's legit, and you get. I think they only give you like it looks like just a big personal pan, but just like a grown up version of a personal pan, really.
Pretty much.
And it's legit, bro. Yeah, shout out to Triple J's down the street, Black owned. Been here for I think 3 to 5 years, something like that. So
go in there. Be like, I buy y'all pizza all the time. Let me be a sponsor. Or come.
They literally remember me. Yeah, they literally remember Nat and I. When we walk up in the line and shit, they're like, oh,
tell them make some copies so we can read it on the podcast.
Yes, sir.
Anytime they order a pizza, we get 15%. Using that code.
Yes, sir.
Or they take 15% and we get the other 85, whichever works best for them.
Yes, sir.
But no, I always wonder this too, and this is not even what we came here to talk about. How often do you interact with someone saying they do this area's style of pizza somewhere else, but you know, because you had the legitimate pizza from that place. Like example, y'all know the restaurant Old Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Old Chicago is a national franchise that claims to sell deep dish pizza. Nothing about that pizza is actually deep dish. Because one, it doesn't have the 16 pounds of cheese on it. The sauce isn't on top. It's just like any other kind of pizza, just got some more crust on it. And so it makes me go like, okay, so this place in Atlanta that's selling Detroit style pizza, if someone from Detroit or who is like really versed in Detroit style pizza actually had it, are they going to go, reminds me of home? Or are they going to be like, this is goddamn farce?
Yeah, somebody from 8 Mile be like, yo, hold up, son. Hold up, son. This shit don't take like miles spaghetti. Hold on, man.
I guess it always depends on like who opened the restaurant. So like if the person whoever opened the restaurant in Detroit, in Atlanta, maybe they're from Detroit, which that wouldn't be far off because we know a lot of Black people from northern cities migrate to Atlanta.
I think in this case they're from New York, but they also serve Detroit style. Because I always get the New York for the most part, and like I can't speak on what their sales are, in regards to like which one is hitting harder,
more popular and all of that.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I think they're family from New York, but
you kind of run into that with all the stuff. Like when I was in China, niggas wasn't selling orange chicken like that. Like it's not like most things.
Even a thing over there.
Yeah, it's not a thing over there. So most things that we know as like the ethnic food or regional food or whatever here is not what it actually is other places.
Oh yeah, dog. Like
oh yeah. Sometimes it's true in that same country. Well, obviously it's true here, but sometimes it's true even in the foreign. It's not foreign to them because they live in it, but the foreign country to us. Like you would expect it to all. Like for example, when I was in Korea, there's this dish where it was a popular dish where like it's pretty much it was like rice and meat. It typically would be either chicken or pork. Typically bulgogi, that's what it's called.
Oh yeah, I heard of bulgogi.
And like they had like an Americanized version where it was kind of served like orange chicken would be, like kind of like meat and sauce and rice. Boom, that's it. But I ordered that same dish in like an actual legitimate Korean restaurant, like in like real Korea, not like the part of Korea that's catering to the American population. And it's like almost you can't even recognize the dish. It's like almost in like a soup. It's like almost not even the same dish. I'm like, wow, that's interesting. But I do prefer the Americanized version of it. So sometimes when they cater to you, they know what they're doing because to me it was better.
Yeah, they got their data points.
Yeah,
for sure. They've done their market research. That's for sure. But I feel like in regards to pizza, dude, like New York style pizza is so widely, like you can go almost anywhere, and they apparently got the big ass floppy slices of pizza.
Yeah,
at least I feel like I feel like that is like if there was anything that was like the epitome of that, it would be like New York style big floppy size pizzas. I've been West big floppies. I know, man.
Those words,
I know,
those
man.
words next to each other just.
I don't know why it makes me think of Big Willie style. It makes me think of like Will Smith album, Big Willie style.
I was not expecting that correlation.
I don't know why. No. I used to. Can you believe I used to bang that shit? I used to bang Big Willie style.
What?
Like it was shit, dude.
Miami was a bop as a kid. Say, what was Big Willie style the 1999 or
was that
Millennium?
Yeah,
getting jiggy with it. Millennium. But no. But the thing is, there's even tier systems as far as New York is concerned, because somebody who's trying to get like a for real good slice ain't gonna go get $1 slice. $1 slice is like, oh no, I got somewhere to be. I only have $1.03 to my name right now, and I'm hungry. So,
bruh. Last time I was in New York, I had 3 different types of pizza. One was like overly expensive. One was that $1 slice, and then one was kind of like a middle ground. And they were fucking amazing, man. I'm like, I don't know why this $1 slice isn't more and why this expensive one is so much. They were all so good. I
It
guess
might be
there's
ingredients.
Yeah, I think so. Like the quality of the ingredients, maybe it's you get what you pay for
Or
in regards to that
area of where you got it.
Yeah.
You were in Manhattan the whole time?
We spent a couple of days in Brooklyn too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe I
Did
just
it go
fucking
hard?
Shout out to New York. God damn.
I guess at some point we should start the show, huh? So
Can't look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a
Yo, what up, everybody? I don't know when you're kicking in, but thanks for joining us for another episode of the InforMILLy podcast. This is one of your hosts on with the most, Josh. We got A-Dub today.
Yo, hello world. Thank you for listening as always.
Brother Johnson, as always.
What's up? Good morning, good evening. Depending.
And
no
good
Marco,
night,
but love to him. We over here debating food, and this all came up because Aaron's wearing this dope ass Pizza Planet shirt. But yo, AJ, you were saying something happened to you last week. We want to unpack that with you.
Okay, yeah. As I was saying previously, I've gone back to school and stuff, and with that, it's kind of been interesting being surrounded by Gen Zers essentially, because obviously these are kids between ages like 19 and 22 typically, you know.
Gotcha.
So we were in class, and my professor, she was talking about the concept of people not accepting the or pretty much the legitimacy of government. So like she was saying, it's like people have to people have to respect and honor the legitimacy of the government. Otherwise, you don't have there will be no order, I guess. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Say that one more time.
So I know I made that complicated. So I'll make an example. So for example, in this last election, there's a lot of people who don't believe Biden
actually won. Yeah.
And that's the idea right there. Like you have that's not, you know, if without people believing in the system kind of doesn't work, right? So I mean that's not even the main part of the story, but there's this guy that he was trying to make an example. He was trying to give an example of that in history. So he said he brought up the Civil War. He was like, yeah, wasn't the Civil War fought over the fact that the South didn't want to acknowledge the Lincoln being elected? And she kind of just paused. She was like, and she kind of made a face. But before she said anything, so the way our classroom's set up, there's microphones in front of everyone's desk, and like to say something, you just press the mic and say. So she paused, and I can tell like she was like what? And like before she said anything, I just pressed my microphone and I was like, I thought slavery had something to do with it, right? And then she was like, yeah. And then she started, speaking, and then it was just it was interesting, like because she was completely thrown off by this kid's statement that he thought the Civil War started because the South didn't want to recognize the election, and not like slavery wasn't even like a thought. And I just thought I wonder what's being taught in schools. That's my main point here. It's like, because she was completely thrown off, because she was like, you can see the face, like, I've never heard that before.
Yeah, like what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, she was doing that yayo dance.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that most likely has always kind of brings up the point of the relevancy of CRT being taught in schools.
Oh yeah.
And before we even get into that, do y'all have any particular feelings about it?
Well, for listeners who might not know what CRT is, it's critical race theory. And to be honest, I have no clue what CRT is. I couldn't tell you what it is.
So the easiest way for that I've seen anyway for CRT to be explained is essentially teaching the whole history of how things came to pass. Because as we know, American history is taught very whitewashedly. Mm-hmm. It will mention people of color or Black folks or indigenous people only as they relate to how white people influenced everything, as opposed to this person invented this, but then what is it? Take Thomas Edison invented the light bulb, allegedly. Then you find out Thomas Edison actually stole and then patented the light bulb because Lewis Latimer invented the actual thing that led to the light bulb, the filament that led to the light bulb. Lewis Latimer is not taught in schools unless you're like in a very specific class during Black History Month. And so then adding that part in so that the whole history gets taught. And what happens is most people don't fucking know what CRT is as a whole. And so they just assume by teaching whole history and actually showing the good, bad, and indifferent that white people did, in addition to what BIPOC folks have actually done, is supposed to allegedly get people to hate being American or anything like that. But what it is essentially kind of what Germany did post World War II to distance themselves from Nazism. Yep. And so it's America trying to do that thing, but it goes against the political agenda of so many people in conservative America, et cetera, that as long as they can demonize it as being some kind of brainwashing thing, as if the current educational system isn't also brainwashing, then people don't actually have to learn about what the fuck it is and all of that kind of stuff. Can it be done poorly and wrong? Of course, it's fucking education. People can teach math and
wrong. It's probably gonna be done wrong. And I mean, it's just like
it's gonna be done biasly.
It's gonna be tainted. It's gonna be tainted. Yeah, like, and where do we get? If we want to do it, it's fair to do it right. It's fair to do it right and tell the whole story. But where do we get the whole story from? Is the question.
But that's the whole thing.
Where's all the information, the proper information to get the whole story from?
There's so many scholars that are already compiling and have already compiled so much.
What I'm saying, where are they getting it from? Where are they getting the information from? You know what I'm saying?
These are facts. As far as what that's concerned, like what happens is,
I'm not saying facts or not facts. I'm saying where are they getting the facts? Like where are they getting it from? How much of that is left from history to pull from?
I assume a lot, because
you see what I'm saying? Like how? I mean,
not really.
It's got to be. It's got to be from. Let's start with this. Maybe it's coming from the same source that the regular information we already know. Because someone's got to write a history book, again, I'm in school. I've been doing, research for papers and stuff. Because I'm writing the paper, I get to pick and choose what I want to include in this paper. There's if I'm trying to make a compelling point, I can leave off this, I can leave off that, and just put in the parts that I want to make the story sound good. History is no different. You can
absolutely
pick and choose what parts you want to tell. And then it's as simple as that. And as you know, the people tell history biasly. They're always going to tell it from their side. They're always going to be the hero. If we're telling the Civil War, I guarantee you the the Revolutionary War is told differently in England than it's told over here. I'm sure.
What was funny, I heard somebody speaking about that not too long ago, actually. They were talking to some English folks about what England says about the Revolutionary War, and they barely talk about it.
Oh, see?
Yes, because
they lost. Skip that one.
It's the same way that Americans talk about Vietnam.
Yep.
We don't really know shit about Vietnam.
Yeah, we went over there and thought we were just gonna kick these, these poor people, and that did not happen.
It didn't happen. That's it.
I guess what I'm saying is what sites can we confirm are credible, and where are the actual papers and whatever from history? What sites can we consider credible? What museums, libraries, or whatever that hold any physical copies of stuff we can research from, like that is what I'm saying. Like the
And,
actual
and so
artifacts
I
and
guess
things from history that would tell the truth before they were tainted along the way by somebody picking and choosing.
I guess my thing is
Saying like data banks, I guess,
anytime we're talking about like people who have already done the scholarly research, as soon as you show is if people need the validation of whatever institution they've been a part of or what have you, in order to validate what they're saying, because no one does that shit for history as it's currently told. Like it's a thing of if for all the shit that we learned in high school and middle school and all that kind of stuff, no one goes, okay, so can someone point me in the direction of where this is verified? But as soon as new information comes in that either discounts or adds more to that story, people need 17 forms of validation in order to get that true. Because
I would hope that. I mean, look, I feel like in our books and stuff, there would be reference pages and stuff. I would hope.
It rarely was.
I like that. I feel like all of them.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying it's wrong to do that. I'm saying it's a thing of there's always kind of caveats to certain things. Like I was listening to Amanda Seales talk the other day, and she was presenting a point about something, and people wouldn't listen to her. And then they questioned whether or not her speaking about some part of how Black people were going to experience her content and all that kind of stuff wasn't valid until she brought up that she had a degree from Columbia. And so the degree from that white institution validated her speaking about her Black experience. And that thing is bullshit. And that thing is what gets inserted a lot in regards to these kind of subjects. Because like you said, Adam, history is always gonna not always, but everything can be tainted. And it has been tainted. And so what CRT is trying to do is trying to, for lack of better words, fix, but more so if you find out the story you've been told is only 40% of the story and you have the opportunity to get up to 85%, why run away from that or try to convince yourself that it's something that it isn't just because you're scared about what that's going to do to power structures?
Yeah, that's pretty much it right there. I mean, like I honestly don't know if that was a question or a statement, but regardless, that's what I want to say.
I wish they would do what I'm pretty sure Germany did. Germany did their own form of the fuck, I'm losing the word. What do we want? Reparations. There we go. Damn, it took a long time to get that. They put in several $1 billion into the Jewish community, but that was like in the forms of like infrastructure and stuff to allow people to kind of like, like from schools to businesses and like have their grandparents have begin to grow their own wealth, and then their parents and then the children.
But even in regards to that,
ideally,
we ain't gotta look outside. We ain't gotta look outside the U.S. for reparations.
No, I'm saying Germany showed that it was possible to do that and actually be successful. Is what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying America has too. Japanese people got reparations after World War II.
Well, we're talking about Black people. We're talking about like Black people in America. I'm talking about.
I'm saying that America has done it. They just refuse to do it when it comes to Black people. We ain't got to look to see that Germany has done it. America has done it. They just won't do it in regards to this because that bill is so big at this point.
Yeah. They should have got in on the ground floor with the 40 acres and the mule. That's very doable. But now it's like that's not gonna cut it now. Like now,
very achievable.
That stock is it's more of us, and that stock is higher. So, but
if they'd have done that shit right during what was the name of that era?
Reconstruction.
During Reconstruction, where Black folks were able to be and make their own political parties and all that kind of stuff, and things were starting to flourish and whatnot. If they'd have did it back then, it could have been fine, because by now, whatever generational wealth would have accumulated would have done so. But because y'all refuse to do it up to this point, and then talk about, we can't be held accountable for some shit that happened 150 years ago. Meanwhile, you're still living pretty off of the things that were built 150 years ago. You can't say that. And especially because if people talk about like, oh, these people were so long ago. That nigga Mitch McConnell is 300 years old. He was there. Most of our grandparents were there for Jim Crow.
Yeah, I always make the point where it's like my parents were alive when they're at a point of my parents' life, their parents could not vote. So I mean, that's not that long ago. So I mean,
it's not.
So that's like us being in high school and our parents can't vote because they're black. That's pretty much that was my parents' life.
Very
like,
much so.
When they were in high school, their parents couldn't vote.
That was a 65.
Yeah.
Well, look. If I got a vote and I'm half, so I guess I got half a vote. I don't know how strong my half a vote would be. But
I'm not sure you got that vote.
I'm choosing reparations over CRT. I'm saying that over CRT.
I'm saying CRT leads to could push reparations more forward than without it.
I just don't understand what's the big like. Why wouldn't you want your kids to know the whole? I just don't get it. I really don't.
I completely believe that the fear is kind of that time old thing that most white people know that regardless of what their proximity to privilege is, they know that they are in a different standpoint than than most BIPOC folks. That old Jane Elliott saying, and I hate to quote her in particular, but where she was like, she was in an auditorium with people, and she said, "Raise your hand, all the white people in the room. Raise your hand if you would actively switch lives with any black person in the room, because no matter how tough or impoverished or what have you life you still have a closer proximity to wealth and success than that person could ever have. Yours is a matter of decision. Decisions in your life could lead to a different thing, is what you believe, regardless of whether or not that's the truth." And so I literally think it's a whole thing of, because they're so miseducated about, because so many people, especially in rural America, are so miseducated about the circumstances of what led America to be today, and they've been peddled so much rhetoric about what their relationship is to America and what patriotism is and what and why privilege doesn't exist and all this other kind of stuff. There's so much peddled to that part of America that no one's going to actually try to find out what the fuck CRT is. They just don't want to. They just know that it's going to help non-black people to get a clear understanding of how America came to be, and that's going to remove the power structures that help them to be where they're at.
The thing is, the reason why, along with the CRT thing, I've heard like there's parents that in some states parents are allowed to opt their kids out of learning about Black history and stuff. The reason why I have so much issue with that is because, like, when these kids are growing up and they're learning about American history, but they're learning American history without learning about the contributions of not even just Black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, Native people have all contributed to this country that they love, that we all love to live in. Some of us love to live in. So I think it's really unfair that, it's that it's even allowed, honestly, that for parents to be able to say, we don't want our kids learning about this. And it's not like they're learning it's not like they're getting a quality Black history lesson anyway. I mean, it's probably very
watered down.
It's very surface level anyway. But and And with that being said, these kids grow up and they believe that this great nation of theirs was built by only white people, and we all know that that's not the case. And I'm not even if you exclude slavery, which you can't, but
You
even
can't
if
have
slavery,
America without it. Yeah,
exactly. But even if slavery never happened, and say black people came over here by choice, but all the contributions that were still, contributed by black people, you still couldn't have America without black people. Even if slavery didn't happen, and it was just all the contributions post-slavery that black people contributed to, you still could not have the America you have today. But a lot of people so many people grow up not realizing the contributions that black people, Hispanic people, Asian people have done in this country. And it like you were saying, it gives them this false patriotism that no one can be more patriotic than them, And it's like, I'm not a patriot. I mean, I served in the military for 10 years. I've never considered to be a patriot or anything. But a lot of people would if you were to tell a white person to close their eyes and you were to describe an American hero to them, like me, I wouldn't I wouldn't be the person they see, obviously. So it's just interesting that I don't even know where this point is going, and I think I'm getting off subject.
If I can just piggyback, not to stop your thought.
No, you I'm just ranting at this point. So
because it's what a point you just brought up was personal imagery, because then you could even get into not even a different part of history is talking about like blackface or what have you, and how before a certain point in entertainment, non-white people didn't exist.
Yeah.
And what that kind of does to folks' psychology to go, no matter where you look, and I'm not even trying to preach about this kind of stuff, but it is valid what representation can do, that no matter what it is, white folks can do it. It don't matter if you're an accountant, a lawyer, a criminal, a space fighter. A beef I have with most science fiction is that
Buzz Lightyear, Space Command.
Like it is a big beef I've had with science fiction for a while. Is no matter how many aliens are involved, there's going to be some white people that save the day. There's going to be some white human earthlings.
Even Black Panther.
Even in Black Panther, y'all found a way to get white folks in this and make them integral to the story. It's a thing of I can't remember what movie it was. Maybe we can put it in post, but it was some movie that was like, it was some celestial embodiment of planets that were like 18 planets connected together, had all these alien forces on it and all that kind of stuff, and something was threatening the fabric of the existence of this conglomerate of planets. And you know who were the protagonists? A little white boy and a little white girl. And I was like, how?
Bobby and Joanne.
Like it just makes no sense. Yeah. And that's not just with whiteness. I hate earthlings centering themselves around everything. If you're making this about the universe, why is the leader of the Guardians of the Galaxy fucking Chris Pratt? You look at that band of ne'er-do-wells, and and Chris Pratt is the leader? How? Like it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Even in the Avengers, I'm like, it doesn't. Captain America is the leader of the world's mightiest heroes. The world's mightiest heroes. Leader.
The galaxies, right? The galaxies. Huh? The galaxy's greatest heroes, sexually, right?
No, that's their tagline. The world's mightiest heroes.
Okay,
the Avengers. And I'm like, it's a Captain America. You're telling me this isn't propaganda? Like, I can't believe that.
Yeah, I mean, like we were saying about the history thing, we're always going to make our history we're always going to make our heroes like us. And like
Yes.
for the longest time, the writers of America's story has always been a white guy, essentially, for the most part. You know, Declaration of Independence, this beautiful piece of writing of the Constitution. You know, it's always been the pen of the white men. It's, has written the story. So I mean, and all the little pieces of art, like the Marvel universe, is a microcosm of America, essentially. I mean, and I'll guarantee you can look around and find other little pockets of that too, where it's like it's just kind of modeled after, everything.
And I'll even point out this, because I know white men get a lot of shit, and we're not going to act like white women don't do the same thing. Because that's what happened after the Civil War.
I feel that nuanced and complete. I appreciate a well-rounded, you know what I'm saying?
Because what we're not going to do is act like after the Civil War, after the South lost, somehow the educational system got taken over by the Daughters of the Confederacy to rewrite history to not to be shown as what we know today of talking about, it wasn't about slavery, it was about states' rights and all this other kind of stuff, just kind of furthering miseducation through the Daughters of the Confederacy. But somehow CRT is an issue. And so it's
well, I propose, let's see.
What's your proposal? Go for it.
with zero educational background or qualities or behind this proposal, there are 0 extra letters behind my name going towards this proposal. But I propose, let's do it. Let's push through with the CRT or any. I'm good with fair, like whole, honest, complete history. That once again, America is fair, whole and complete America. You gotta say that one more time for America. Fair, whole, and complete. We need
for the listeners,
fair,
you can't see
whole and complete.
You can't see my face if you just listen. My face is very scratched up because I don't know about fair or
no. I'm saying
fair
in particular. I'm saying we deserve that.
I just know CRT is supposed to be impartial. That's my big thing. History should be told impartially. The issue is that it has never been told impartially.
And complete part. That's the fair and complete part I'm talking about.
Which would be an idealism because America's never done that.
That's why I had to say it 3 times for America. That's why I had to say it 3 times for him, Josh. But with that, I'm good with that. I'm good with anybody and everybody's and the actual, real, full story being told in a impartial, fair, complete way. As long as alongside that, there are methods and processes set for just a human being that don't have you focusing so much on these, like the skin color, and it's focused on emotion, your body, your mind, your emotions, your energies, and what can we do when those things what can we do when we get those things in balance going in the same direction? If we can have both of those things together, I'm all for it. I'm all for it, because your race doesn't mean shit when you're getting overwhelmed by an emotion that has nothing to do with your race. Whatever race you are, or male or female, can't help you when you're caught up in an emotion or your mind racing. There are certain things, there's an awareness that needs to be there from understanding to help bring you back.
I mean, if we
can get both of those, if we can get a human being, there's no argument. There's no argument that, man.
There are arguments. There are arguments. Because it could be argued that proximity to care for proximity or access to care for those emotions could be impeded upon due to the circumstances in which the circumstances of your racial background.
I don't give a shit what brought about the emotion. I don't care what triggered the emotion.
No, not the emotion.
I'm talking about
itself.
the individual person like fight or flight and stuff, things that are a part of the human condition that you don't have to say, oh, that nothing out. Like if you get your story told or whatever, that's not gonna all of a sudden in that moment bring you down from depression or misery to joy, or to or to the next step of ease when your body's running rampant with emotion.
I'm saying
there are different procedures that need to go alongside that. If we can do that, then I'm good for any.
Because so I just want them to tell the full. I don't know what y'all talk about, but I just want them to tell.
No, I agree.
The full story of the history book. That's it. Like just tell the whole story.
I agree.
I just don't think that's going to do very much. Is what I'm saying. So that I'm saying outside of telling the full story, I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to fix. I don't think it's going to fix individual people and make them feel better in a consistent way that they can count on.
I do. I think what it'll do is.
But y'all know that we've had these conversations. Y'all know.
I think what it'll do if kids from a very young age starts learning that, that if kids from a young age, if kids starts learning that all of the classmates around them, when they look around the classrooms and they see, well, depending on the school, I guess, but they see different skin colors and they realize that, oh, all of our ancestors, they definitely violently did some stuff back in the day, blah, blah, blah. But over time, they did come together and they did, if they learn that everyone contributed to something, I think they'll naturally just have respect for the next person instead of walking around believing that if they think that only people of their skin color built all of this, they naturally think that they're superior than the next person because all they think is, because we've seen not TikTok video, we've seen like the videos that go viral of some young teenagers talking about, we've seen like the racist videos and it's clear that these people are ignorant. It's like they're being racist, but it's not even offensive. It's more so like you don't even know what you're talking about. And it's like, and I think a thorough education of history will prevent that ignorance because that's all it is. I just want to prevent ignorance.
That's a good point, but I don't think that's going to stop them from comparing. Like they'll find something else to compare themselves to, and that's
I'm sure, but
like
I just think people
the saying, the saying, the man with one arm is totally fine until he sees somebody with two, and then it's like, oh, I don't have what that person has. It's not going to stop it's you. I don't think it will. I don't think it will.
Here's the thing. Even with that kind of argument, that's like saying, kids who grew up in third world countries, quote unquote, who have only known poverty, don't know they're in poverty if they still find joy and all that kind of stuff. That's great. But as soon as they leave that environment, if they have no idea of how to function in more affluent areas of the world, or how to associate with people who may have lived in different circumstances than them, then they still lost out on that experience of life.
Yeah, I don't think everybody needs everything that America has. Like I'm not proposing like going in and saying you need to live just like us.
No, I'm not saying that either. I'm saying there are too many issues that have persisted for entirely too long because people do not know. People are always told some falsehood about how whatever came to be. Reparations should not be a conversation anymore. Reparations to the descendants of stolen Africans should not be a conversation anymore because it is so obvious to us who care to have the knowledge of it, of what was wrong beyond the atrocities of slavery, or motherfuckers barely even know about Jim Crow at this point. They know some bad stuff happens with water fountains and some hoses. They don't. The fact that the niggas are just motherfuckers are just learning about redlining or or how banks wouldn't support Black folks or what gentrification does. people are how you redlined an entire neighborhood, and then people are coming back to the hood to try to buy it up, and then displace those people and not care. All of this stuff is still happening to people today. Slavery is still persisting today through the jail system. All of these things are still going on, and people still need to be educated about them because they didn't know before. And you're saying that getting that education would not help people in the long term, and that's just not true.
You can get the education. I'm all good with that. I said get the education, but I said also have this other side of not a human being with all this past, like have this other side of, okay, while these things are in play, because they're going to be in play until who knows how long. Let's say we got all the fair information. Who knows how long? It's not going to change night and day just like that. It's going to take a while because people who are like, no one changes like that. Especially that's been going on for hundreds of years. It's not going to change
because while you're fighting, say time to change.
While you're fighting the good fight,
I'm agreeing.
Also, I know, but I'm talking. While you're fighting the good fight, also finding ways to help the individual bring some balance to themselves while they're fighting this good fight. I'm not saying don't have it. I'm saying have it in a company with something else. Not just the history, not just the information. Also, as a human being, as I said earlier, people, whatever your race is, whatever your race is, whatever your level of power or control in this country or around the world is, you have these things that you're coming in contact with that you're experiencing on the daily. Mind, your emotions, your body, and your energy. Bring some balance to those. Have ways to try to be curious of what you're bringing. A good way to say it is just bring balance to those things. What happens when those things can get in sync with one another? Have that on the side of learning all the information about the history and everything while you're fighting the good fight. That to me is what the saying is getting at when they say you can't fix the problem on the same level that it was created. Because a lot of those problems were created based off a human condition, human ego. Like things need to be addressed outside of race and all that too, about what challenges does the human in general face that would even start certain things like discrimination, like would allow someone's perspective or whatever to be off, like the need for power, the need to kind of all these compulsions that human beings have, no matter what race you are. So those things need to be addressed as well. So I'm saying do it all, not just one. We only focused on one. It's like we're always just focused on one, man. It's like
one what? I'm sorry.
One aspect.
So
race,
so you're proposing
whether you're
like
black or white, whatever, ethnicity, race, nationality, history. It's like, okay, but right now I'm going through something and I want it to be a little more peaceful right now. So what can I do right now? Oh, there are things that I'm experiencing all the time. Mind, emotions, energy, my body. What can I do with those things to bring some balance to me right now? So my next decision, my next move, in the words of the great T.I., make sure your next move is your best move. You know what I'm saying?
That's I'm just talking about third grade history. That's it. So, and all I'm saying
I know, dog, but this is more. This is bigger than that. You know?
Yeah, but what's being argued is critical race theory and curriculums having the full. That's it. Yeah. That's it. That's all I'm talking about.
Yeah,
and I think that.
Sorry, Doug. I hear stuff like this a lot, and it's like I hear this more so than the accompany with other things. So I guess this is my opportunity to express.
And that's good. I mean, express yourself. Regardless of whether or not we agree or disagree. Adam, finish your thought because I want to say something to what Aaron was saying.
No, yeah. So for me, all I'm saying is that I believe that, and I'm not saying like you should. I'm not saying like let's have the class and let's beat up on white people and let's make all the white kids feel bad about their answer. I'm not saying let's do that. All I'm saying is just tell the full story. Just be very neutral. It can be very neutral. You don't have to crown anyone the hero. You don't have to say that the white.
You just
devil.
state what it was. Yeah,
that's it. That's
all. Just to be clear for the people, I'm not disagreeing in that. I'm like what I'm saying has nothing to do with agreeing or like disagreeing with that at all. By the way, just for the people not to be confused. If I didn't say that, it could be confused and taken the wrong way. In no way am I disagreeing with that at all.
One point I want to try to make sure I'm not misinterpreting or just speak toward. And what you're talking about sounds like more either therapeutic or mindfulness practices, right? Inside of people getting this information, how are they processing it so that they can deal with them in real time as systems get worked through and they garner more information, correct?
Yes, and would
that be a correct assessment?
For the sake of time, yes. Yes, for the sake of time, since we got like 6 minutes left, yes.
I'm saying for like clarity, the most like baseline of what
let's
you're
say
saying
baseline.
Yes.
And for all parties,
right,
involved,
right,
not just one part, yeah.
Because I do think I'm not say do think I'm completely concurring with what Adam is saying. Of CRT is not meant, because this is an argument that comes against it often, is people making these like false claims that they're making white kids feel guilty and I shouldn't have to subject my kids to this so they can hate themselves and hate America. It's not about trying to make anybody. I don't think CRT is about making anyone feel guilty. It's about stating facts as facts. And if you're worried about guilt happening, then that's on you and your feelings. That has nothing to do with what a fact is. A fact is just a fact.
Agreed.
How you experience a fact is your experience of it. My point of finding better mindfulness practices or therapy and all of that, it's available to people, but therapy and all of that shit costs so fucking much because our medical system sucks. And that's a whole nother conversation, but it can all still be traced back to the practices that have kept certain BIPOC communities impoverished. Happens generationally, and those people may still not be in a place where after so many generations they've accrued enough wealth, or in this era where inflation is so high and people are working but they do not have the actual I can't think of the actual term, but like expendable cash to pay for therapy. The information of how America came to be and learning those practices and then dismantling those practices could have led to them being in a better place for them to be able to afford therapy. And now they don't have it. So they don't have the means, unless they're going to try to hop on some YouTube video that's going to tell them about breathing and shit to actually get the therapy, to deal with all of this stuff, to do the work that you're talking about, because not everybody has the bandwidth, the capacity, or the tools to do that on their own. And so you're talking about.
Okay, no, I'm not. You just paused. I just didn't want to interrupt. That's all.
I just wanted to give a clear period on the sentence.
Gotcha. And
okay. So
hit me with that exclamation point. I got you.
But I'm just the whole point of what I'm saying is that there's so much that a clear idea of history in order for the people who were going into these legislative jobs to be able to change how that history was made in the first place and dismantle those systems that have led us to today has to do with the information they got originally. You dismantle those systems. It has a grander potential to put people in better financial standings to be able to pay for the means to get the kind of help that you're talking about. And now I'm done.
Okay. All right. Cool. Now, first, real quick, because we got like a couple minutes. Just want to reiterate and be very clear for everybody. I'm not on the side. I'm not mentioning a side. I don't care about taking sides. This is like I just want to be very clear to people.
I just want. Do I sound accusatory? I'm not trying.
No. I'm agreeing with Adam. By the way, I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with that. I'm just saying have that accompanied with something. Now, you're right. Therapy is expensive for people. It costs you nothing. Meditation costs nothing. I mean, like maybe if you trust a particular individual to imbibe energy, like imbibe some knowledge or wisdom from, maybe that'll cost you because they got to keep their lights on. But even let's say it even costs you something once. If a small seed of that stuff is planted, the rest is on you for the upkeep. The rest is on you to practice like you would anything else out in the real world. That's free. So let's just take out therapy and the extra expenses and stuff. Let's just say a one-time thing, or even better than that, taking conscious breath, taking a moment to just sit and say, how am I doing when you go from one particular event to the next? How am I doing? Like, how did that last event or whatever situation happen? How did that affect me really internally? Like, I'm sitting with what's going on with me now so I can have a better understanding of what I'm going to have to offer in this next moment. That costs you nothing. That costs you nothing. So once again, I'm separating it from that stuff. That is separate from the races. I'm just saying, have it as an addition. Have it as it is an option. We have options to not mentally, to not suffer psychologically, is what I'm saying. They are out there, whether everybody knows them or not. Like, okay, let me just end my rant. Let me just end my rant with this.
Good.
Just like most people would agree, it's insane to believe everything you hear or believe everything you read, everything you say, everything you hear. I feel like most of the people you walk outside, talk to somebody on the street, they would agree. It's crazy to just go around believing every single fucking thing you hear.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's equally insane to me to assume that because something is not in your current experience that it doesn't exist. So I'm saying you have other options. And that's my rant, man. I'm done.
Only pushback I'm going to give to that is I don't know that people treat something as if it doesn't exist. I think I have two thoughts, and I'll keep them real brief. One, I don't know if it's that they don't think it doesn't exist as much as practicing anything that you have no awareness of is a little. It's a little. I can't think of the word, but I can't believe you'll do anything that you're not really privy to.
Yeah. And so essentially, to you, it doesn't exist. If you have no awareness of it, it's not in your field of awareness. It doesn't essentially exist, and that's okay. I'm just saying that assuming that it's crazy and doesn't. It's not even. It's not. It sucks that people don't see it as an option. That it could be an option.
But the way you're saying it, or the way I'm hearing it anyway, is you're saying people treat it like it's not an option. With saying that it's not an option means that you are aware that it exists, but you are not seeing it's feasible for you. As opposed to if I've never heard of Uzbekistan, I don't know that exists. So if I've never heard of whatever practice that is that could be useful to me, I'm never going to have the thought, oh, maybe I should look into that. Because
everybody has heard of yoga and meditation now. Those are the most common. People are using that shit and abusing it like crazy now. So everybody has heard of that stuff. I'm just saying it's an option that's not popularized necessarily in America anyway, in like a sincere way on a mass scale.
Agreed.
Those are just two examples. Okay, that's fair. We do that a lot
here. And the other side of that is to believe that people are some folks are just actively choosing not to go those routes. I do think that that's probably very common. I also know
because it's scary.
Yes, yeah. we live in an era of more awareness of things like depression and anxiety and all of that. And when it comes to mental shit, those are not choices. Those are the experiences of that person, and because it's a different kind of chemical makeup, they are dealing with that thing. And so to treat it like, oh, I'm depressed because I'm not choosing to do anything about it. That's just not how that works.
Okay. I mean, all right. I feel you, man. I feel you. I respectfully, I respect your opinion and respectfully disagree.
But only
agree to disagree, like you said.
Because none of us are diagnosed in that way. That we have. I've experienced depression, but I am not diagnosed depressive. And so if you are not diagnosed in that way, I do not know you can speak from that experience or say that thing is not true when that is a life you've never lived. I can't tell somebody who's only known Indonesia what it's like to be in Indonesia. That's their experience because that's the life they've lived. And it's the same thing with a person who has high depression or anxiety or schizophrenia and all that kind of stuff. I can't be like, man, you know, this is how schizophrenia works. Nigga, I'm not schizophrenic. So I can't tell you what that is.
Yes. So what I'm saying is these things aren't even, speaking of giving the full and fair, speaking of giving, like we talked about earlier, giving full and fair, like nuanced options, like full story of things.
Mm-hmm.
We're only hearing about, let's say, Better Earth and stuff, right? Or what? Like, what's the newest therapy or whatever? They're not as Better Help. My bad. They're not even. Why not give more nuanced and more well-rounded or full scope of options to treat things? To treat, maybe trying things that are different because the shit that we are currently doing must not be working because a lot of America is on medication and stuff, which costs money, which, like you said earlier, no one want to pay. It costs a shit ton of money to stay on medication.
I don't want to pay if you can't pay. I don't know about want to pay.
No. I brought up a point that you made, and now I'm speaking on the fact that I don't think the current system is really helping in a real way if so many people are on medication, which is not good for you. The same thing that you take the medication for, it might kill you. I'm saying, how about we have a more nuanced scope? So you're talking about experience, and that's fair. Okay, I might not have that. I agree. I'm not saying, I don't think somebody who's a wealthy person is the right person to go into an area where people don't have wealth and try to speak to them about certain things. That, like, so you have no idea what I struggle. You haven't struggled in general, at least to the depth that I have. So how could you understand? Blah, blah, blah. I understand that. But something has to give. We need more. We need different options. I'm saying the things I'm speaking about don't seem to be as big options or even options to other people. Maybe we need more nuanced conversations and more awareness around them so they can see there is an option. And they're cheaper. They're just spending the rest of your life on a fucking medication.
I agree with
you. Or
depression,
or schizophrenia, or whatever.
I agree with you that medications run rampant, and that's not always the route. I agree with you that those people who are trying to push forward those practices need better marketing. And that sounds like what it really is, because I think I may be caught in the semantics of it, because we're saying like, oh, these people aren't choosing that option, and you can't choose something you don't know about.
I'm saying more. Yeah, we need to like, why aren't we making these things more widely?
It ain't
known,
all. Bro. It ain't on us to make it more known, unless they're gonna.
We as general, Josh. We as general, Since when do you?
That's on all this. That's on. What, I'm saying. That's
what am I specifically saying? You, folks?
No, I'm not. I'm saying we collectively, because if it's something for people to know about, that's on them who's providing the service. That's not
okay. So all of our conversations from here on out are gonna. Let's just make it a general rule. Let's make it general fucking known. Then why you acting like I'm coming at you personally? It's like what the fuck are we do? I never said that. I never said that. I'm saying I agree with you that those options need to be made more readily available, not that people need to treat them as if they're options. People don't know. That is the person supplying the shit to do better at getting it in front of people so they can know, hey, you can't afford therapy? Cool. Come to Nigga Minds, where we are going to help fix your nigga mind for $2 a month. Like that is on them. That is not on the public. So I guess this is something that I have a challenge. No, you're right. This is something I have a challenge with, though. I have a challenge with this, though. I don't like coming off like I'm complaining about something that's happening in the world and not trying to find solutions that I can actually put in place and actually put to work in my own life. I don't like just sitting around complaining about America, different things that are happening in the world, and not finding a way, not coming up with a solution that I can actually put in place in my own life. So if we're always outsourcing everything to them, and then what are we doing? What are we doing?
I hear you, but
we're just complaining. Then we're not expecting any actual thing to happen. What solution can happen if everybody's complaining and saying it's up to them to put this into place for me to feel better tomorrow or whatever?
and with all due respect, I completely hear you. And it's all due respect and love.
Of course.
I hear you, and I really agree with you and concur with that sentiment. But I guess it's a thing of, even in this conversation, if you were going to, and this is going to be a slight challenge, we informally honest. If you were going to do that, if you were trying to look for solutions, you'd have solutions for this argument. And you've been very vague inside of going, oh, we got other options. Oh, why don't we try yoga? And if you really believe,
yeah,
no, I'm saying
that I find that it works. It does make my experience, at the least bit, flow with more ease, especially when I'm going through challenges.
I know. I'm talking about your actual practices. Inside of this, it's been very the suggestions you've made has been about, oh, people need more options or ambiguous things, but not going, oh, what I do, I take 30 minutes every day, if not every other day, if not every day, where I sit in the room and describing like, okay, this is a practice that I have for me, as opposed to going, well, y'all motherfuckers got options, and like it becomes so ambiguous, as opposed to going and you're saying you want solutions or offering a solution. Okay, and you didn't necessarily offer one.
So if I say, okay, Josh, every day and every night I sit, okay, what the fuck? That is the truth. What the fuck? Okay, so I'm gonna say that. So hold on. So I say that, and all of a sudden my point is valid now. All of a sudden my point is valid now because I say it. That's the truth. Every morning.
I'm not saying that it's more. I'm not saying that it's more. No, it's not. No. I'm not saying
that's what you said. That is what you said. Don't bullshit me. Adam, play this shit back, dog.
I know.
Play this back, Adam. Play this back. We trying to get this motherfucker. I ain't about to be the only one. I ain't about to be the only one who get rounded on. That shit just flowing through social media. I ain't about to be the only one. Nah. It's time for somebody else to get that heat, son. Somebody else.
No, I'm not. Like I said, I'm not being accusatory. I'm saying that's how the conversation has gone.
I guess I don't agree on that. I don't agree with that, I guess.
Sure.
I don't agree with that.
You have every right not to agree with that.
I don't
and by all means, I hope you, the listeners, can be like Josh, you fucking no bullshit, or Aaron, he's right. I mean, by all means, conflict makes good content, in my opinion. So,
but
this is a real conflict.
Yeah, no, of course. But I'm like we have our like. I don't want us to agree on every fucking thing. It would not. There's no way to go viral.
No, it's a very boring podcast.
No way to go viral. Yeah, and we need that. We need viral. We need to go viral right now. You've seen that. We need that shit works. That shit works.
Sorry that this we were supposed to end this like 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, my bad. I'm a timekeeper, but clearly I can't even keep time on my own fucking rant. So,
Adam, you about to say something?
Yeah. All I'm saying is, if you're going to talk about World War II, include the Tuskegee Airmen. That's it. That's all I got.
And just so everybody knows, I agree with that. All right? I want everybody to know that I agree with that wholeheartedly. All right?
And my final feeling on that is, yes, include the Tuskegee Airmen or whoever the other black fighters were, but actually include their relevancy and not be like, and then there were some niggas on planes too, and then move the fuck on.
Yeah. And then, if you so dare, you can also talk about the Tuskegee experiments when they were giving those people syphilis.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We could, like, if we're gonna tell history, you should tell whole history. That's what this whole thing is about. If you're gonna talk about how the current housing market works or what the entertainment industry has been, just tell things as whole history and not doing things for the not telling things from the perspective of how they are in proximity to whiteness. That is the whole thing.
Absolutely.
In fact, telling whole stories can sometimes help you understand modern day phenomenons. And what I mean by that is, say it was well known about the I cannot say that word.
Tuskegee
experiment, and people knew that the government or whatever institution that was giving black people syphilis. Maybe fast forward to 2020. Well, maybe that's why black people don't want to be vaccinated. Maybe instead of it being such a mystery, like we don't know why. Well, maybe that's one of the reasons. Maybe there's always been a distrust in that way. And I'm not saying that's the solo reason, but maybe that adds to it. Maybe, you know.
And then there's countless examples of, you know, Western medicine bullshitting with black bodies and all that kind of stuff. You could get into Henrietta Lacks, and you can get into a myriad of other topics. Yeah. And so it's a whole thing of the fear that usually gets associated with this is when the mass of white America and general America learn about the atrocities that have happened to especially black folks, but indigenous people too, and Asian folks, Hispanic folks, etc. When you learn about everything that's happened, then you kind of can't help but know all the guilt and all that kind of stuff. And people are just afraid that, oh, this is gonna, you know, make us to be out the villains, or now I gotta accept that maybe every opportunity I got wasn't because I was skilled, or, you know, maybe because my name was Sarah and not Celicia. And so but yeah, it's just too many, it's too many hard truths for motherfuckers to find out that they have been shielded from this whole time, and yada yada yada, blah blah blah. But anyways, we're gonna stop
I just want everyone, I want all of our listeners and the owners of Tip Hub to know that the half pink guy on here agrees with it. All right, I agree with all these statements they make. I just want everybody to know, especially the owners of Tip Hub. Aaron agrees. Half pink, but I agree. All right, I agree. I want y'all to know. Right.
Oh man, you know, it's all good. Like I said, conflict makes good content. Yeah. But we appreciate y'all. We love you, fellas. Any last thoughts?
My last thoughts is just, I think teaching everything, I'm not even joking. I think over time it would create a natural sympathy, it would be a universal sympathy among the citizens. I think that would take like decades, but I just think it could change the country for future generations. That's what
for the better, for the absolute better. And Gen Z is being good about that. Gen Z is making it a point to like actually be more upfront with learning those things. The high teenager to young 20s, they're being sharp. Pretty good about that. Even though too many little white content creators do the whole black accent thing, and it's really bothersome. It's just annoying. It's just really annoying. But anyways, AW, you got anything?
Man, this was a good one. And yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. We got to make that a shirt. I got to get all my agreeing out at the end. You know? I challenged in the beginning. I got to get all my agreeing out at the end.
All right, y'all. Until next time, every conversation that you have, every connection that you make, and every person that you empower and engage with, we always encourage you to always be forthright, vulnerable, and most of the fuck all, be honest. Much love. Peace.
Can't look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a tear for my brother. I really wanna try for my brother, 'cause I truly do feel for my brother.